Live from the studios on the Burnstown Road, it's time for The Valley This Week. A look at the people and places of the Ottawa Valley and the Pontiac. The Valley This Week, made possible by a grant from the Community Radio Fund of Canada Radio Meters program. And now your host for The Valley This Week, Heather Lang.
Good morning. Here on The Valley This Week, we bring you stories about the people and places of the Upper Ottawa Valley and the Pontiac, many wrapped around current events and activities. Think of the show as a news magazine with stories about arts and culture, recreation and sports, communities, and so on. So sit back with your cup of coffee or tea and enjoy. Coming up today, a story about a former St. Joseph's High School student who is pursuing his dream to be an organist. And it's Crime Stoppers Month, and we have an interview with the county's program coordinator to share with you. We also have a good news story about the BMR fire in Fort Collonge. We take a look behind the scenes of the Renfrew County Animal Center, and so much more. But first, here with me in the studio are Duncan Noble and Reverend Susan Clifford of Valley Welcome, the Syrian Refugee Sponsorship Group. Now, Duncan lives in the Killaloe area, and Susan is from Eganville, and they made the trek down here on snowy, wintry roads to come to the studio. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you. All right, so we have some good news. You had a young married couple arrive in Eganville via Ottawa on Sunday, January the 10th. And then the woman's sister and her family flew to Canada on January 13th to be sponsored by a group in New Brunswick. But the sponsoring group graciously transferred the sponsorship of the family to Valley Welcome. And the family was picked up in Montreal. Have you come up for breath?
Oh, it's been so exciting. It's unbelievable. And the amount of work it took to get the family of five and to intercept them in Montreal was a testament to just how brilliant this group is, the Valley Welcome Group. And we also want to thank the church in New Brunswick who graciously handed them over to us because they were all keyed up and ready to receive them, and we sort of snatched them off their doorstep virtually. So we're grateful that it all worked out as it has.
So tell us about the composition of the two families and how you came about to know that they were going to be sent to New Brunswick. How did that all flesh out, Susan?
We learned through the sister who had come last Sunday. We learned that she had a sister who was soon to fly to Canada, but she knew no more than that. And then she spoke to the sister in the Beirut airport, and the sister didn't know where it was that her family was flying to. But we gained that information through a government agent. They were able to tell us that the destination for the family of five was New Brunswick, to this church. And so we went online, got the telephone number for the church, contacted them, and they gave us more details. And then with a lot of toing and froing, we were able to intercept them in Montreal.
What's the composition of the two families? How many do they have kids, both families, or?
The first two who arrived are a young couple in their 20s, and the second family that's come have 3 young children and the husband and wife.
Okay. What's their story, Duncan?
Well, the two sisters that are part of these two families that we just talked about are part of a larger family of, I guess, 9. Which was what we originally sponsored. So there's a group considering an older mother and father in their 50s and 60s with 6 children. 2 of them are married. Those are the 2 eldest daughters, and they also have 5 younger children.
Okay.
Mostly daughters. There's one son who's 17 years old.
What are the ages of the other children? Do you roughly know?
Well, the youngest one is 5 years old, who's basically the granddaughter, I guess, of the man and woman, husband and wife. And then the other ranges are up to about 19 years old, I think. The son is 17, and the daughter, who's not married, is 19. And as Susan said, the 2 oldest daughters are in their early 30s.
Right.
Their story is I don't know when they left Syria, but they've been in Lebanon as refugees for several years, I believe. And, we were connected through the government agency, right?
Okay.
Valley Welcome's been around since September, and the refugees in Lebanon, Jordan, Iraq, and various places around Syria have been screened by United Nations, and then that goes on to the Canadian government, who then finds sponsorships groups willing to support them in communities all throughout the country.
The miracle of this is that this family of 5 that we just picked up in Montreal this week, the miracle is that they were separately sponsored, and the fact that we've been able to unite this family is just amazing.
I just was thunderstruck when I saw it online, and such a great news story, and they must have been so thrilled to be reunited.
Oh yeah, there were tears at the airport for sure.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I wasn't there at the airport, but the emotion in the faces on the photographs was just, it came through 100%.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
incredible. And can you imagine being separated from your family in a foreign country, going through all these hardships? We can't even imagine. What
And
they've
in a
gone
country with all the snow
through.
and the cold.
Coming here. And I mean,
Right.
we
Yeah.
had originally planned to sponsor the family of 9, which was the group of 7 plus the younger couple.
Okay.
That was the plan. But then when we learned of the additional sister and stuff, I mean, obviously people wanted to do the right thing. I mean, that's one amazing thing about this entire experience of being involved with Valley Welcome. There's so many people that want to do the right thing, and it's been a lot of hard work, but at the same time, it's been relatively, everything has been coming to us as we need it.
Okay, so I have one question. You would have had one house. So what were the, things that you had to do, the actions you had to take in order to accommodate this extra family?
We have a very large house, and so we were able to absorb the extra 5 people, and they're very happy to live in a more crowded situation just so that they can all be together. So we had considered perhaps renting a second house, but they're most happy to be together, and I think in terms of what they've been experiencing these last number of years, it's like a palace.
Right.
Yeah, and living in extended family situations with, in this case, 3 generations is much more common in Syria than it would be in Canada.
Yes, of course. Now, the house is in Eganville? Is it?
Yes, it's in Eganville.
Okay. Younger ones going to school yet, or how's that working out?
That's certainly all in process. I mean, we have some great contacts in the school system here that have offered to help integrate them. But, considering that they've been here for less than a week, I don't think they've actually gone to school yet. And there's also a language issue.
Yes, of course.
They'll be involved in ESL, English as a second language training.
Yeah.
But the plan is certainly for the ones of school age to go either to the secondary school for the older ones, and then earlier school.
Now, one thing that really surprised me, I didn't know that we had an Islamic center, and it's housed in Deep River. And so that center has been helping you with translation and other, things, right?
Yeah, they've been very involved, and that's one of the things we're so amazed about and grateful, because this whole project has pulled not only the churches together, but the community at large, Killaloe and Eganville communities, and it's also put us in touch with the Ottawa Valley Islamic Center and our Muslim brothers and sisters of that area. And so that's part of the miracle of this project, is that so many diverse peoples have come together, and we're so grateful for the translation and the cultural integration that the Ottawa Valley Islamic Center is able to offer to us.
Right. Duncan, did you want to add to that?
Well, yeah. I only wanted to add is there's also a Muslim community close to Barry's Bay that's been involved in this.
Okay.
I think it goes by the name of Hassanville.
Okay.
And there's 20 to 30 people involved in that have been also very supportive of this. So it's amazing what sort of, when you have something like this, a project that draws, as Susan said, every people from the community, from all walks of life, all different backgrounds, and everyone has been very focused just on the goals and helping to support this family.
Now, Valley Welcome has garnered a lot of media press. Canadian press, CBC, BuzzFeed, the local press, Globe and Mail, and I was particularly touched by Roy McGregor's story in the Globe, published on December 19th. Now, of course, people in the Ottawa Valley know of Roy McGregor. He's an Ottawa Valley born and raised. Now, he's been a terrific ambassador for this whole region. And in his story, Roy mentions the Valley's long history of offering refuge. So you kind of touched on that a bit just now, Duncan. So he talks about the Irish fleeing famine and came to Douglas. He talks about the Mennonite families who have just arrived in the past year or so. Al Capone, who
and of course
reportedly, sought refuge. The Kashubians and Poles who came to the Valley. And I think he was really trying to say that, the Valley has been a place where people have sought refuge. So do you want to, add to that?
Well, I mean, it's hard to add much to what Roy McGregor said because he's such a great storyteller, but I think he's really touched on something in that Canada certainly as a whole has been a country that's been built by immigration and refugees. So we've had a long history of accepting people from all different places around the world. And it really has helped build this country to what it is today and has really enriched it. If you just think of some notable immigrants or refugees, I was talking to Susan on the way over here. I mean, Naheed Nenshi, who's the mayor of Calgary, the first Muslim mayor of a major city in North America, and he's made an incredible contribution to this country. He came as immigrants from Africa with his family. Adrian Clarkson, the former Governor General of Canada. I mean, these are people that have made huge contributions to our culture. And of course, there's lots of people with less well-known names that have been kind of, building up this country over the years.
Right.
And certainly, as you pointed out in summarizing Roy McGregor's article, the Ottawa Valley has been a place of refuge for many people.
Yes, and of course the draft dodgers.
Sure. I mean, look, I'm a transplant to the Ottawa Valley.
As am I.
But I live in Killaloe, and certainly you don't have to look very far in Killaloe to see evidence of people that have come here looking for, a better life, and people have been very willing to accept them. So I anticipate
they enrich the fabric of this country.
Of course, yeah, and we don't, from a certainly reproduction point of view, the birth rate in Canada is going down. That's a good thing, maybe in certain senses. But if we want to continue to grow, we have to have population. So the only way we're going to do that is through immigration.
Yes, absolutely. Now, you must be really pleased with the social presence. It's been getting a lot of traction, your Facebook page, and you're doing Twitter and all of that. And I'm amazed. It's a groundswell of such a community effort that started in September. You've had various fundraising campaigns, the Toonie campaign. Do you want to comment about that?
Well, it's almost like an avalanche of support. It's incredible how willing. There's obviously a network which kind of starts off with a few core people and expands, and there's many, many circles of support throughout the community. But I've been amazed at the level of interest and support, and people just saying, how can I help? And, writing us checks, contributing online, talking about various ways of doing this. I mean, the Facebook page is, I think the latest post about the refugees actually arriving has been our most popular thing, but it's reached like over 10,000 people.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And people from all around the world. It's the Ottawa Valley is obviously the center of it, but, people from the Middle East, people from different places in Europe are all kind of, obviously moved by this story to see, this is people reaching out to help other people and do the right thing.
One tough thing, getting them here. Another tough thing is acclimatizing them to this country. Susan, do you want to talk about that?
Well, we're taking steps to ensure that they have all their material needs met, and the integrating into this community, that's the next challenge. And English as a second language is probably one of the key stumbling blocks. So they've got to learn English, and then it will go on from there. And the children through the schools will be able to be absorbed by the community through the school groups. And we're organizing different representatives in the schools to take the new children in hand, and I understand they're being enrolled for figure skating, and so all these different ways that they can interact in the community will help towards them feeling at home.
Well, even how to operate some of the appliances, I imagine. Wouldn't that be a bit tricky? They probably are not exposed to our items.
Yeah, no, I'm sure you're right. There's going to be so many sort of challenges, both at the sort of micro level and
Yeah.
the macro level.
Yeah.
But we have an amazing group of people that are in there every day, sort of helping them to get used to it. You know, setting up bank accounts, applying for OHIP cards, things like that.
Right.
So I'm really, confident that these refugees will be able to, find a new life here. I mean, they're pretty resilient in terms
Yes.
of having gone through what they did. And, before we end, I just want to say one thing, which is thank you to everyone who supported Valley Welcome. It's been an amazing group to be part of. I mean, I've been part of other volunteer groups, but this one is unique and extraordinary in terms of
Yeah.
the number of people that have contributed. So
What's your fundraising goal?
Well, we originally, this is an interesting story. We originally thought we were going to sponsor a family of 4 because we didn't know how hard it was going to be to raise money. I mean, we originally set a goal of $26,000 because that's what the government said we needed to support a family of 4.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was amazing how quickly we achieved that goal. I mean, it's almost hard to explain.
It was past 42,000, right?
We're now over $70,000.
It's over 70. Wow.
And the thinking on that is that because people have contributed this to support refugees, our plan, our vision is to support more than one family. So we weren't planning to support 14. We were originally planning for 4, then expanded to 9. Now it's 14. But it makes a lot of sense to support more families if we can. So our thinking really, our plan right now is, depending on the resources available, both money as well as volunteer time. I mean, obviously there's a limited amount of resources available, is that it would be good to have more than one family here because obviously if you're an Arabic speaker, it's nice to have other Arabic speakers and people from a similar background around you.
Yeah, before we wrap up, I wanted to ask, do you have a goal like maybe a year before, you can fully, unleash them? Or, how does that, what's the thought around that?
As a sponsorship group, we're responsible for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And so within this year, we hope to be able to bring them up to speed and that they will be able to take their independent steps into the future.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say that the group this family is so grateful. They're so appreciative and understanding of all these efforts that have gone to make their welcome as good as it has been. They're very grateful. And we're so grateful for all the volunteers and everyone who's contributed. And I have to say, thankful to God for what we believe is very, very much God's hand and blessing on this whole project.
Right. How can people get involved? They're listening to this story right now and they want to know what they can do for your Valley Welcome group.
Well, if you're on Facebook, check out our Facebook page, which is just facebook.com/Valley Welcome. Or you can check us out on the web, which is valleywelcome.org. And if you're not on the internet, which I'm sure there's lots of people like that, you can contact either Leslie Supolo or Kilmeny Heron, and I'll get those contacts. Okay, so Kilmeny is available at, you can phone her at 613-628-6043. Leslie is at 757-0311. So hopefully that will give you lots of opportunities to be able to support the group.
Excellent. Okay, super. Well, thanks. It'll be great to do a follow-up, maybe in a few months, and get you back into the studio to find out how the families are doing. And I appreciate you making the trek down from Killaloe and Eganville to come to the station today.